The Isdal woman, Europe's most mysterious unidentified death. On November 29, 1970, a family hiking in Isdalen, the ice valley near Bergen, Norway, discovered a body. The woman was lying among the rocks in a remote part of the valley, surrounded by evidence of a fire. She was badly burned. She was dressed in distinctive clothing, and she was completely unknown. No one came forward to identify her. No missing persons report matched her description. Despite extensive publicity across Norway and Europe, no family member, friend, employer, or acquaintance ever claimed to know who she was. The autopsy produced a disturbing set of findings. The woman had consumed a large quantity of sleeping pills and alcohol. She also showed signs of strangulation. The official conclusion was suicide, but the medical examiner noted the strangulation injuries, and subsequent investigators have pointed out that the combination of pill overdose, alcohol, and strangulation is not a plausible self-administered death. The fire around her had been set. The scenario was, in the assessment of most investigators who have studied it, not consistent with suicide. Every label had been removed from her clothing, cut out with scissors, as with the Somerton man 20 years earlier. The rings had been removed from her fingers. There were no fingerprints. The skin of the fingertips appeared to have been burned or abraded away. She carried no identification. She had taken every possible precaution to ensure she could not be identified after death. This is not the behavior of a person planning suicide. This is the behavior of a person, or the behavior of a killer, who knew that identification was dangerous. Norwegian police found luggage abandoned at a railway station in Bergen with her belongings inside. Inside the luggage were coded notes, a series of entries that appeared to track the woman's movements through Europe using initials and numbers that had no immediately obvious meaning. When investigators analyzed the notes, they revealed that the woman had traveled extensively through Belgium, Germany, Italy, Switzerland, and Norway, moving frequently, never staying more than a few days in any location, paying cash, using multiple names. The woman had used at least 8 different aliases in her travels. Witnesses at the various hotels where she had stayed described her as attractive, well-dressed, and clearly educated. She spoke multiple languages. She was observed behaving in ways consistent with surveillance tradecraft, taking different routes to the same destination, observing whether she was being followed, meeting briefly with strangers. Norwegian intelligence services, when later interviewed about the case, declined to confirm or deny involvement. Several sources have stated that intelligence agencies from multiple countries were aware of the case. In the week before her death, the woman had been tracked by Norwegian police. Officers had noted her suspicious behavior and were monitoring her. She appears to have become aware of this surveillance and changed her pattern. She was seen purchasing the sleeping pills found in her system. She traveled to Bergen. She went into Isdalen Valley, and she died or was killed on or around November 23, 1970. The Norwegian police surveillance of a woman who died within days of being identified as suspicious has never been fully explained by official sources. In 2017, Norwegian broadcaster NRK conducted an extensive reinvestigation of the case as a podcast and multimedia documentary. They located new witnesses, analyzed new evidence, and commissioned DNA analysis of material from the body. The DNA analysis, released in 2018, was able to determine that the woman was likely of French or Belgian origin, with genetic markers consistent with Central European ancestry. This narrowed the geographic origin but did not provide an identity. She remains anonymous. The Isdal woman, as she is known in Norway, where she is not forgotten, lies in Bergen's Mollendal Cemetery under a grave marker that reads, "Death in the Ice Valley." More than 50 years after her death, she has no name. She had deliberately ensured she would have no name. Whether that erasure was her own act or someone else's remains unknown. What is known is that a highly trained, multilingual woman, moving through Cold War Europe under multiple identities, died in a Norwegian valley under circumstances that the official record calls suicide, and the evidence calls something else entirely.